Thank you, Noel. All right, the district office. Rachel.
I wanted to echo the concerns of the others who've spoken before me about the location of the board meetings. And as a district employee who works at all 3 sites, I see value in having the meetings at all 3 locations. So I hope that we can keep to these meetings as they're scheduled at the colleges. It's just good for maintaining perspective. And I also want to thank Sean Breather for his update on the security measures that are being taken given the recent incidents at LBC.
Thank you, Las Positas College. Hi.
Just wanted 2 things. The LPC Classified Senate approved a $100 donation to Santa Rosa Junior College Fire Relief Fund. The donations help leverage the College Foundation pledge of $100,000. Donations are made at firerelief.sanrosa.edu. Second thing is the faculty Flex Day was held at Las Positas College today. Faculty organizers invited classified professionals to attend any or all sessions with supervisory approval as the college offices remained open. A committee of classified professionals planned sessions on payroll, benefits, and classified conversation, which was a time set aside for classified senate and union leadership to answer any membership questions. We have the sanctuary question on our next meeting agenda, so I don't, and we have not discussed anything about locations of the board meeting, so I'm sorry, I can't.
Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to the presidents of the Student Senate. Let's start with LPC. Tatiana.
All right, hi everyone. So at our last meeting, ASLPC approved money to purchase 4 charging stations for students to use while they are on campus. One of the things we learned at our Washington, D.C. conference is about food pantries, so we wanted to have one at LOSPO, and so our advisor spoke to Ms. Brown from Alameda County Food Bank so we could begin one, and to market that, we have food available for students. We're going to use our Interclub Council event to market the food pantry. And then due to the lockdown incident that happened on October 3rd, I believe, our Club Day event was canceled and was moved to October 18th, and it was a success. Thank you to our campus security and our resources. All the students were informed about the lockdown through a text message, and even though it was a false alarm, the incident was taken very seriously, and I know that our students would have been safe had it actually happened. So I would just like to thank Sean and the rest of our campus security for that. And then, like I said before, our Undocumented Ally Task Force will have a meeting regarding the Sanctuary Campus resolution, and it will be put on the agenda for Student Senate at this Thursday's meeting. And then in November, I believe the week of the 13th, we will be holding a special election to implement our Student Mobility Initiative, which is a transportation fee for students to pay so we can sustain the availability for free transportation for all Las Positas students through the Wheels bus program. That is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Chabot College, is that here?
Members of the board, Chancellor Jackson, and my fellow community members, as student body president of Chabot College, it is my duty to represent the student interest and to speak on behalf of my fellow students. As I accept this responsibility, I respect this position and the student body too much to remain silent. Over the course of the last few weeks, I've been incredibly disheartened by the course of action taken that has been taking place. I already mentioned the sanctuary resolution, my sentiments on that, so I'm moving on to point number 2. The lack of adequate staffing on our campus has also been a growing concern for our campus, particularly our STEM department. As of now, Chabot College only has 1 engineering instructor teaching 5 sections. That schedule equates to about 19 hours of instruction in lab and lecture weekly. That does not include the time needed to grade assignments and exams or availability of office hours. There's just one case across the entirety of the STEM department and the rest of Chabot College that faces the harsh brunt of inadequate staffing. In some courses, there was a point in which 60 students were enrolled in one class and more than 20 were on the wait list, attending class to further their education. Kids writing against the wall and trying to use the floor as desks. Courses such as engineering, machine tools, and calculus are just a small sample size of our growing faculty hire problem. When these concerns were brought forth to the Chancellor's Office as emergency hires last spring, they were not addressed quickly, and as a result, our students suffer the consequences. Problems like these cause lower enrollment, delayed matriculation, and a slower graduation for our students at Chabot College. I urge the Chancellor's Office to address these issues as they are only getting worse on our campus and setting up our students for failure. The relocation of the Board of Trustees meeting from its original venue at Chabot College is just plain wrong. Our college president initially requested a larger venue on our campus to facilitate the number of students and faculty members that wanted to attend the meeting. Our college president's request was met with a quick relocation to the district office for reasons stated by the Chancellor as security concerns and a larger venue. In reality, our event center is a larger venue, and we have yet to hear any concerns regarding safety by any trustees. Along with this, the Chancellor mentioned that at a later date, we may wish to hold a meeting at the college. Chancellor Jackson and Trustee Jin, does this mean that there will be no more meetings at Chabot College? Furthermore, because the change of venue was only made on the 16th of October, less than 10 days before the actual meeting, it is in violation with Board Policy 2310. The policy states that the location shall be posted at least 10 days prior to the meeting. The Chancellor has falsely interpreted this board policy, mentioning that the policy is for the Board of Trustees to set their agenda in the beginning of the year. This action brings to question the legitimacy of any and all board policies. Additionally, the relocation has been greatly problematic for our students and faculty because of the commute times and schedules. Driving through peak traffic, organizing carpools to attend, and dealing with conflicting schedules makes it impossible for Chabot College to participate at the district. The Chancellor's Office has attempted but failed to make the situation better by sending buses. However, this is after our college requested buses be available to District M&O. District M&O was told to cancel the buses requested without any clear reason. The entire problem could have been avoided had the Chancellor kept the meeting at the rightful campus location. This change in location by the Chancellor has suppressed the turnout and the voice of the Chabot community, whether intentional or not. Make no mistake, the Chabot College voice cannot and will not be silenced under any circumstance. Finally, I wanted to make mention of the issue of the funding on our campus. Our campus's fiscal troubles are common knowledge to anyone in the district. Our current allocation model sets our campus for cuts and removals of programs across the board at about 17%. That means a loss of programs, sections, and overall funding. However, according to the Chancellor's Office website, the chabot-las Positas Community College District has steadily increased its general unrestricted fund balance from its target at 8%, and that is a target, so that's the mark that they wish to achieve, annually to around 22% in the 2016-2017 academic year. In the last 5 years, you can see a continual increase in the fund balance for both unrestricted and restricted fund balance from 16 million in unrestricted funds and restricted funds to 38 million. At the same time, we can see that the actual percentage of money being allocated to salaries and benefits of staff is decreasing. We see a decrease from 91% of the fund balance to 83% of the fund balance being directed towards the salaries. As many of you may know, this is because we are in the process of removing well-experienced faculty who served in their position for many years for less experienced faculty so we can cut costs. So to recap, there's been an increase in percentage being saved and a decrease in percentage being spent on staff salaries, which is supposed to be the majority of the fund. What exactly are we saving this money for? I've been told it's for better bond ratings and easier accreditation. Now, whether the reasoning is higher bond ratings or easier accreditation for future years, the fact remains that we have these extremely pressing issues that are happening right now. The difference in a double A minus bond and a rating and a double A bond rating should not outweigh the very serious problems that our campus has right now. Why are we saving money for better bonds and continually placing the district office ahead of the colleges in the budget allocation model when we are facing these problems now? Why do we allocate so much money to a luxurious district office when the only function is to facilitate the students? Our college is hurting. Our students are hurting. Our programs are hurting. We cannot wait and plan for the future when we have a crisis on our hands that needs to be addressed. I urge the Chancellor and the Board to reassess their aims and end the broken allocation model that places our productivity level at an unrealistic level. Members of the Board, I ask you to consider the following. Do these actions promote the advancement, let alone well-being of our students? Do these actions align with our values as a community and as elected officials? What are the motivations behind these disastrous plans? Finally, has the democratic process been utilized or expunged over the course of these past weeks? These concerns cannot go on being unheard and unaddressed. The Chancellor's blatant suppression of the Chabot voice will not continue. The Chancellor's continued suppression of our college president's ability to serve our campus and students will not continue. Board members, the students, faculty, and staff of Chabot College count on your support to make the right decisions and investigate the problems that are happening now. We need quick action. Thank you.
David from Faculty Association.
Yes, I'm here for Charlotte tonight, who had to go out of town to tend to a family situation. On the matter of the site of today's meeting, that sure created quite a kerfuffle, and we don't have much to add to what has already been said about it, but it's, as they say, bad optics. And so we would encourage the board to take action to correct that situation. On the matter of the sanctuary campus, the Faculty Association stands with our colleagues at both campuses. We stand with the students at both campuses. And we are proud of our DACA students, our dreamers. And we are especially proud of all the students who are coming to speak to you guys tonight. So we thank everybody for coming to the board meeting tonight. On the matter of negotiations, the Faculty Association is a little disappointed at the progress we're making with regard to non-credit. This is an important opportunity for the district to begin some expansion of our non-credit offerings beyond what's just the tutorial hour. We're still very far apart at negotiations on this, and it's looking like we're going to let this opportunity go for the next year because we can't come to an agreement at the bargaining table on this. We need to be realistic in terms of what we can we need to be able to attract faculty to teach these classes, so we need to have something in place at the bargaining table which is going to allow that to happen. So that is one level of frustration we have. And lastly, this goes along with the idea on the budget and what happened with the revenues from the rental of this building, the first and second floors. I do want to point out there is a precedent for that money going through the allocation model. During the recession, I think at 11, 12, 12, 13, some of that money was sent through the allocation model to help the campuses balance their budgets during the recession. So there is some precedent in terms of how those revenues were spent. But I definitely agree. I would like to see more transparency myself at the PBC level. So we hope that that can happen. I'm a little worried about a sense that I get from my colleagues, and I get this from both campuses, is that there seems to be an absence of essential trust between the district and the campuses. And this we found troubling, is that when we look at even matters of adjusting the budget allocation model, the BAM, that was approved almost 5 years ago in this very room. I remember that day very well because it was the Ides of March in 2013. And when that happened, there was an idea that the budget model would be reviewed regularly, and certainly by the time 3 years passed. Well, that time has passed and then some, and we really haven't had a significant review of the BAM. And one of the issues with it is that if you look at the ending balance as it has changed over the last several years, since the time the BAM was brought into existence, the ending balance has increased district-wide by almost $20 million. And so there is a perception that the BAM needs to be reviewed in a way and adjusted in a way that would drive more dollars to the campuses, to both Chabot and Las Positas colleges. And I would suggest, now obviously it's a complicated issue, the big budget deficit we had at Chabot last year, you can't say that everything is due to this problem with the BAM, but this is something that needs to be addressed, and it's something that we hope that we can get done at BBC this year. We have to have an adjustment to the BAM to drive more dollars to the campuses, but also another fundamental part of that is that when we did the BAM, there was an idea that we would have greater college autonomy, and we're not seeing that. We're still seeing a lot of micromanagement by the district at the college levels, and the colleges are not able to make the decisions for themselves. So we hope that going forward we can remedy these problems. We want to see remedies. We want to see this stuff get fixed, and we hope that it can happen quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, we're moving right along all the way down to item 4.13, which is a consent item that was pulled by trustee Mitzman. Before we start, can we have someone move the item, then we'll go into discussion.
Move the item.
But you moved this, okay, all right. Go ahead, trustee Mitzman.
Basically, I don't know what to do with this. Listening to our fire department and what they're talking about, and I've been a little bit involved in discussions on this with Hayward. Do we pull it and rewrite it? Do we change it now? How do we fix this problem? Because I totally agree. We're way past this area. We should be moving forward. And then we have to agree with the MOU once it's presented to us. So, I mean, it is not giving a free hand, and I don't know how to fix this.
Well, let me give you just a little bit of background. We met on this during the chancellor's chat in February. At that time, there was an expectation that certain items would be addressed. Those items were addressed when we were presented with a presentation in September. So in February and September, there was discussion, there was due diligence with the consultant, and there were still some concerns after we had the presentation at our extended SLT. At that meeting, I asked the president to work with her staff to come up with something because Hayward wanted something from us in writing. It needed to go to the board so the board could approve it. So during that time, that's what we worked on. There were some concerns over committing dollars, and I was not comfortable with that. We then had a meeting with all of the deans and the vice presidents and the presidents at a joint meeting because there was concern that Las Positas College was not involved in that discussion. So out of that meeting, we set up an ad hoc committee chaired by individual faculty member and administrator at Chabot and an administrator at LPC who's working specifically in that area. Have a meeting on December the 1st. We have another meeting coming up on December the 4th of the full body. There were 19 people from the colleges that were there, including district office. And we have a meeting scheduled to meet with, and I would like to be able to take this to as a point of departure and discussion. We've had a long history of working with them. And I think getting something in writing from the board saying that we are interested, but not committing us and not saying we're going to spend X amount of dollars or we're going to do it at this site. But I think there's a possibility, and we discussed it at the meeting, the combined meeting, of a strategic goal, looking at doing something or not doing something or doing something separately at the campuses. And we also talked about the short-term goal, as Bob indicated this evening. We have a 2-year notice to leave San Leandro. So really 2 separate items. This one is only speaking to the item with the city.
Chief here from Hayward.
With the students.
It's here.
Oh, I'm sorry, didn't see you over there.
Good evening, board, honorable treasurers and staff, or trustees, excuse me. Yes? Go ahead. Was there a question? or-
I don't know, what was the
Yeah,
question?
I have a question. Your comments on this, Chief, you and I have had comments, of course. How do you see this going forward?
Well, I was a bit disheartened with the language in what's before you tonight, I'll be honest. We've been functioning in that capacity for about 16 months, negotiating, working through details, big and small. For the city of Hayward, we're $4 million into design, incorporating all of Chabot's needs into the design. And I'm at a point with our city council and the city manager, my boss, where the flexibility to continue to do that on best faith and working in a collaborative effort is running short. We break ground in August of next year. This is happening, and I can't really say it any other way. We've been working very closely with the campus and with all of the folks, the administrators and folks at Chabot who have been just fabulous, from Dean Lima and Dr. Thompson, Dr. Smiley. I mean, it's really been quite an excellent experience in collaboration with local entities, working together for the greater good of our community. So that's the biggest concern that we have right now is the timeline. We need to continue to move. We've got a meeting tomorrow all day, and half of that meeting now is dedicated on what does it look like if we don't have a partnership, and how do we start cutting significant pieces of the project out. We've got about $40 million that we're spending from the city of Hayward, and the balance of the project is dependent on that partnership. I hope that answers your question, sir.
All right. Any other question on this item? I hear a motion has been moved. I hear a second. Okay, are we ready for voting? All those in favor of passing, approving this item, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Sure. I would like this item to be brought back in a couple minutes for status.
That's fair. We can do that. We will bring this back for update as to the status in a couple months. Would that be?
Our meeting is scheduled for December 1st and
December
December 6th, I believe, right, Bob? I don't think that's the dates we came up with. So I would,
And just for clarification, at least since I was at the same meeting, it wasn't supposed to be about Chabot versus Las Positas facilities. It was, we were supposed to be talking about our program and program needs. But I had clear understanding from Las Positas that was, public safety facility was a #1 priority for Las Positas. And our facilities committee has said that is also a priority where they want us not just to, in fact, this is from a resolution that they just put out today that says that they want to see that the board publicly supports the partnership opportunity with the city of Hayward while exploring additional avenues of collaboration, to direct the chancellor to immediately engage in discussions with the city of Hayward for the development of an implementation plan before the window of opportunity to partner with Hayward closes, and to include representatives of the district, the Chabot College Division of Applied Technology and Business, Chabot College Division of Health, Kinesiology, and Athletics, along with representatives of the city of Hayward to assure good faith discussion of program interests and identification of financial commitment for the partnership for shared ownership of the training facility. There's nothing that came out of that meeting that was telling us we were going to consolidate programs and choose one place over another. So if there's anything, this meeting that I understand first was how are we going to coordinate what we do between the fire programs of the two colleges, not what are we going to do about the facilities of the two colleges. That's a different picture, especially since what Measure A said was public safety facilities, Chabot-Las Positas, not public safety facilities, Chabot or Las Positas. So I'm a bit confused because I took notes and what you're saying is not matching what my notes said of what we're supposed to do December 1st and come back the 8th.
who said that?
But the whole conversation you were just having with the fire chief about the facilities issue.
Okay.
We're not waiting until December 1st. It's our facilities committee has said we support it. The president supports it. Every level of Chabot College has supported taking care of the fire facilities. When we were told that Measure A would be $350 million for Chabot, $250 million for Las Positas, if the president said, we think this share is valid for the Chabot share to commit to this, we don't understand why it's being blocked by everything here. We don't get that. And that's why, going back to what Davis said, we're wondering what the micromanagement is. I thought we're supposed to be supporting the colleges and the programs. Where did all of this other red tape sneak in to undermine what we're doing? Because now it affects good faith in our community. You know, the people who supported Measure A, firefighters went out to hey, could you guys support this? Because look, it's got firefighters on the picture of this brochure to support this measure, and they did. And when something is passed, especially firefighters thinking, hey, we're finally gonna deal with the programs that have been frozen for 20 years. And now I gotta go back and say, well, it might be here, but we might end up going there. But let's see if we can run out the clock. We ran out the clock in San Leandro. We can't run out the clock in Hayward, because if we do, all we have left is Oakland and Fremont. And both of them are not in our jurisdiction. So the only choice is to move this way. And now the same people who were disenfranchised to try and go this direction to come to classes, how are they going to feel if the only place they've got is they got to go to Livermore for that? It shouldn't be Chabot versus Las Positas. Get Las Positas what they need, but get Chabot what they need. We're trying to do for a partnership. Because a partnership, realistically, if you got to do it yourself, you got to come up with $54 million to do it from scratch. And that's if you're lucky. That's infrastructure, that's building it to the state accreditation standards. They're not even asking for half that to pull this off. And that's why we've been asking for your support. We've followed every rule you gave us. Every rule the chancellor asked me to follow, every rule the president asked me to follow, every rule that Doug asked me to follow. We've done it. And now, why are we stopped? We shouldn't be stopped. We should be moving forward. You already see the fires going on in the north. We already have fires in the south. You just had something out here in Tassajara. We need to train first responders. We can't be playing games because you lose facilities. A lot of people don't want it in their backyard. That's just the truth. That's what I've been dealing with in Alameda as a captain there. That's what I've been dealing with in San Leandro as houses are being built around it. And folks, even the Pleasanton facility is going to close in about 14, 15 years because you're building houses around there and saying, hey, can you guys move? So that's the frustration here. We're trying to provide the programs. I'm not asking Taj Mahal here. I'm asking for practicality. And people have come to see where we have trained all this time, pulling it off in a facility that's over 40 years. They're amazed that we've done what we've done. Don't allow it to close. We even having to improvise, adapt, and overcome to do tonight's training for them. We still push through, but we can't do it without facilities. We just can't. And we need you to say, not only do we support this partnership discussion, Chancellor, move forward on this. Chief, President, everybody, come back with something right away. Move on this. There's no reason to delay it. Because it's only going to cost you more money the longer you wait to build things. And that I learned from Doug when he said you lose buying power every year you delay in moving forward on projects. And trust me, because of how much they're going to be spending to rebuild in the north, your costs to build around here are going to go up because skilled workers for construction, for projects, are going to draw away from here, causing any project you build, no matter what you support, to be more expensive. Move on it while we have the support. Thank you.
Thank you.
To amend the recommended action budget. And to add, to include the development of an MOU between the city of Hayward and the district.
Your motion is to amend what we approved to include, so would you please repeat those words again?
To include the development of an MOU between the city of Hayward and the district.
Just a point of clarification, you can do that, but you have to have the approval of the first motion and also the seconder, and then you can do that, just according to Robert's rules.
All right, who made the motion, the original motion? No, who made the motion? Virginia, I did, yes, you did the original motion, not the amendment motion. No, the original, okay, all right, who was the seconder? You the second? Do you agree with that amendment? Do you agree with that? Okay, Isabel, you said yes? Yes. All right, okay, then we'll have a vote on that, the amendment to include a MOU, which states one more time, Ed?
To include the development of an MOU between the city of Hayward and the district.
Okay, all right. Are we ready for a vote on that? All those in favor of the amendment, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those approved, same sign. All right. The new amendment has been approved. We move to item 5.4.